channel is still waiting, but we'll also be recording the session for later. So if you're uncomfortable with your name or being on camera or anything like that, we'll just give you a minute to change that. But certainly don't feel pressure to participate. You participate at whatever your comfort level is. And Sophia, you've got a slot live streaming, super.
I would definitely be having fun with a name if I was not on camera today. Absolutely.
Oh gosh. All right, so thanks for everyone's patience as we got going there. I think before we got booted out, I was just explaining a couple of things about Zoom. So let me just go through those super quickly. I know I have different options, but it is a little different than Teams and Google Meet. You can clearly see at the bottom the mute, and obviously, if we're speaking, if you can keep yourself muted, and then the video, if you want to be on or off video at your convenience and comfort level, that's completely fine. If you want to change your name, you can just click on what does it look like from there?
It's the three dots. So on your own little panel, if you put your cursor onto it, there should be three little dots. I've changed my name from Marion McLaughlin to Marion A.U. Scott with my pronouns on it as well.
Perfect. So if anybody who wants to do that, please do. The chat is also enabled. And right now, we have it accessible so that you can communicate with everyone in the meeting. If there was something that you wanted to share with everybody, like you would in a regular Google Meet or Teams. But we also have the option if you wanted to send something just to, for example, one of the hosts here, or even to one of the other participants. I think they can even reach out. And then reactions are kind of a neat little thing. We'll sort of get started, but during the session, if you have questions or comments, participate in your own way. If you use mouth speak, by all means, you can raise your hand, or there are the emojis there, as well as the chat box if you want to use that. So let's see. And then anything else I'm missing? We've already mentioned about the recording. We've mentioned about we're live streaming. Anything else from either you, Marion, or Sophia?
Not that I can think of offhand.
Okay, good stuff. And I know I'm going to let you to start the session if that's okay. Oh, you need me to share again? The screen? You can't see my screen now because I got booted out, right?
Are you a co-host?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm going to let you, I'm going to have to boot it back up again. So just, thank you.
Okay, so while you do that, and welcome everybody, I'll introduce myself. Apologies for that wee bit of a mishap. I'm Sophia Akbar, based in a wee town called Falkirk in central Scotland. I am a late diagnosed maths teacher, mum of 2 neurodivergent and 1 neurotypical. I love all things maths. I also love teaching neurodivergence, because it just happens to be that I'm a magnet for those kind of people, aren't I? I absolutely love teaching kids who are neurodivergent, and it doesn't take me long to realize that they are, and I automatically go into I completely unmask actually with these of all the pupils that I now teach, because I've thankfully now become more comfortable with my own identity. So the short time that we have today, I would like you to go away with feeling that you know a bit more of how you can help the people in front of you, whether you know that they're autistic or not. And that's me for now. I'm also CEO of Al-Masar, which means Path to Progression, which I co-founded 7 odd years ago, and also director of Limitless Learners, with the whole point of being just empowering young people and their families to reach their potential. I'll pass off to Marion.
Hi, so my name is Marion McLaughlin. I am the CEO at Autism Understanding Scotland, which is one of the autistic-led charities that we have here in Scotland. I am also late diagnosed autistic, same as Sophia, and I'm a former primary school teacher. So before my wee autistic little one was born, I spent quite a long time working in primary schools. And in Scotland, I was teaching everything from nursery through to primary 7, so just before they head off to high school, and all the stages in between. But since my little one was so much more fun, I decided I was going to stay home, look after him, and then transitioned into the third sector completely by accident after that. But we do an awful lot of work with our local education authority, and with the other education authorities that are quite close by us as well. Just last night, we were doing some training for teachers on how to support autistic children who are eloping from the classroom, so running out of the classroom as well. We've got more planned coming up, looking at autistic communication, looking at autism and sex education, and all sorts of other fun things that we have on the way. Currently in Aberdeen, we are running a competition for schools to see who can come up with a fantastic poster all about autistic acceptance. And currently we've got quite a few schools around about our local city that are beavering away on that quite quickly. So that's my credentials. That's where I've come from as well. And I'm just really excited to have any opportunity to talk about autism in education.
Do you want me to introduce myself too?
Yeah.
I guess I should.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people that are here know me, but I know we are live streaming. So I'm Karen Tim. My pronouns are she, her. I am a member of the Actually Autistic community and use identity first language. I am a school administrator in Ontario, Canada. And right now, I'm a white woman with long dark hair and orange headband. My screen behind me is black, and I have the rainbow infinity symbol in the top, I guess it's the top right corner, with Neurodivergent Infinity Network of Educators. On top of that, I am the founder of the Neurodivergent Infinity Network of Educators, which is the 9, which is a network of educators globally who are coming together to put this summit on this week, our Intersectional Infinity Summit. And I'm so thankful to Marion and Sophia for joining us and sharing of themselves. I know we're all doing different things in different parts of the world to try and reframe autistic realities for educators. And, so I really appreciate you joining us from across the pond, from my perspective, but we're across the pond for you. And I know there are people joining us from around the world in our live stream, as well as those here in our Zoom call. So without further ado, I will hand it over to both of you.
This has to be the quickest CBT, shortest professional development delivered, particularly for autistic teachers. This is going to be like groundbreaking, like Guinness Book of Records groundbreaking, isn't it? Because autistic teachers talking about autism. Oh gosh, yes. So
brevity is not our friend.
No, especially when it comes to our subject, right?
Right.
So, first things first, myths. What the biggest barrier that people have for supporting the pupils, or even why kids or pupils disengage and are totally disenfranchised with the school education is because of myths that the adults have. So Marion, to you, tell me, what kind of myths do you see that affect in school engagement?
I think just even who could possibly be autistic in the first place, because if you're not recognizing that your pupils are autistic, then you're not going to realize that they might be needing some kind of different supports. And I know this is a story that I've told you before, Sophia, but the first time I went to a lecture about autism whenever I was doing my teacher training back in 2004, I had this wonderful 2-hour-long lecture about autism, and I left it thinking 2 things. One of them was, autism is clearly fascinating and I desperately want to learn more. And the other thing was, but don't those autistic people sound difficult to live with? Not realizing I was one of those autistic people. So I think the fact that so many teachers don't recognize that you can be autistic even if you're not white, cis, middle-class male. And when I was learning how to be a teacher, when I was doing my teacher training, I was very, very much told it's boys who are autistic, nothing about autistic girls, nothing about autistic non-binary people. everything was focused on white cisgender male. And so I think, first of all, we need to recognize that there is a massive diversity in the ways in which being autistic can present. And so much of that is down to socialization. It comes down to those expectations that we get from the rest of society, which can be based on things like gender, culture, religion, sexuality, you know, all sorts of intersectionality that can go on there. So I think we just need to sort of bust wide open the fact that there's no look for autism there. So anybody could be autistic, really. Is that a fair one to start off with? Yeah, you don't look autistic. I love that picture. It's a really, really good one, isn't it? Yeah.
My picture that Karen chose for the website for this whole summit is exactly that, the one with me and my wee one, and we've got, well, you don't look autistic, or ADHD, and we're like, what does
autistic look like?
What does that even mean, right? So
yeah. I think there's another really good picture by Doodlebeth where it shows loads of different people from all sorts of different backgrounds and disabilities who are autistic. You can be autistic and in a wheelchair. You can be autistic and bald. You can be autistic and wear a scarf. You can be autistic and be wearing all sorts of rainbow colors. You can be autistic and part of the LGBT plus community. You can be autistic in anything. Autistic people are in every section of society. And I think that at the moment we still have this idea of the autistic person rocking backwards and forwards in a corner underneath the table, which, to be fair, has been me at times. But we need to move away from thinking that the kid in the front row who keeps on asking you if their work is right every 2 minutes could be autistic, and they're just really anxious about perfectionism. The kid who really struggles going into the lunch hall every day could be autistic because of the sheer volume of smells that they're coming into. So there's a lot of different presentations of being autistic that people are just missing in the first place. And if you're not recognizing that your student might be autistic, then you can't support them as an autistic student to the same extent, can you?
One thing when I was trying to get support for my son in schools, what I got back was, no, but he's fine. He's got peers that he talks to and he laughs with and plays with. Turns out they're also very autistic, eh? No wonder he loves them so much. No wonder he's so social.
Because autistic peer support.
Exactly, and I'm so just relieved he has found those people. They're not in his classes, but just meeting his two pals at lunchtime break time is like survival for him for high school. But then you'll have people like, oh, here's another one, somebody who's actually trolling him from the teacher's perspective. Oh, they're just pals and they had a fallout, whereas the boy's like, I'm so terrified of this person here, and I'm laughing along with him because I'm terrified of him. And then what do the teachers perceive it as? They're just boys, they're just socializing, that's the way they are. I mean, like, come on, they're laughing, so clearly they must be friends.
Yeah, there's a big difference between laughing and grimacing, isn't there?
Yes, there is. And it's like, someone's your friend. If you say they're your friend, you as a teacher, do lunch duty and all that, you observe all these different types of behaviors. You cannot assume that people in a group that they're all actually in harmony. Because you will get trolls in the group, you'll get unwanted people, you will get bullies, you will get all sorts of characters in that group. It's about listening to those initial, those experiences.
I think we really need to recognize as well that what is traumatic for one person might not necessarily be traumatic for another, but that doesn't necessarily make it any less traumatic for that one person for whom it is traumatizing. And I think this is where, this thing that about gaslighting that you've just shared, Karen, is really, really important. Because I lost count of the number of times I would hear things like, it's not that loud, you're overreacting, you don't need to do this all the time, that's not too scratchy, that's not too spicy. And we hear that all the time. And very often from other schools and things as well, I'm hearing, oh, they just need to toughen up. They just need to get used to it. This is just how kids are. Well, kids